Gundam.TK presents High Grade Shaldol Custom. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2 R's, 2 B's from GundamReviews.net. And as the Zaku head hops out of the way, yes, Asum and the Earth Federation needed grunts in the second generation, and between the Adels and the Genoas 2s, they did have a bunch of them. But how about the Shaldol Custom? You've got all these empty plates here, including that gaudy green. So let's take a look at the individual parts before putting it together. When it's all put together, here are the main body parts, pretty much everything that you'd expect with the backpack already on, and you can see all the component parts there. The big oversized shield to go along with the weapon there, and you're only going to be using one of those beams, so you can have an extra to, let's say, give it to Asum. You're going to be getting 2 manipulators there, both for the left arm. You've got an open one and a closed fist, and these parts are actually X'd out in the manual because they're part of the G-axis. They would be white there, of course. And here it's going to be a green and white chest, so you can swap those out if you choose to. Bottom to top, you're going to have a solid foot here, which is just going to have a polycap, 2 pieces on here, and it's just going to move off to the side and forward and back. And you can see the bend here for the inner frame, if you want to call it that, is going to give you the 180 before you put on the knee and the thigh. For an effect that looks something like this, you'll notice that the hip is going to rotate as well as go up and down. You can see that the bend isn't going to be hindered by the armor very much there. It's going to look pretty good because the knee is going to stay in the middle, so you've got a gray looking good up on the top. Lining opportunities all over there, all over the place, including some pretty deep channels there. Thin ones on the front, you can choose how heavy or thin to make these, and remember that this is pretty different from the G-axis's leg. You can just see that there's more seals on the G-axis, and generally just more lining here. Nothing particularly exciting about the waist, except it's going to be solid. You've got these kind of little parts here, I don't know why, but they remind me of the 08 MS Team and having some sort of pockets over there. You can see that because they're on the PC9s, they can pop off pretty easily. You do have this piece here, which is going to plug in lining opportunities. These are seals, and because the seals bend over the edge, you can guess that they are going to peel up over time. And you've only got that gray part down there. They're not independent, but you are able to swivel the hips as well as move that forward and back. It's a very different build here for Wolf. You can just see that this is more angular with a cooler looking top part and certainly cooler parts there on the side, including the more white color. This one really is an off-white. The chest is identical to Wolf's in construction. You've got a polycap, or when you pop that on there, PC2, and you can see it going there as well. It's this white part and this white part, though, that you can swap off if you do want to use the X'd parts from the manual and give this guy a very green chest, so that's something I'll take a look at later. In terms of lighting, I'm not sure again if this is the best way to do it, but I went with the black on the green. You can add a little bit more on there, but you do have the quality shoulders here that we've seen for most of the high-grade ages. They are going to rotate a little bit forward and back, and you do have a polycap here that's going to move, but it's the backpack that's a little bit more exciting. Certainly not as large as Wolf's, but you do have a thruster down there that's on another PC9 that's going to move, although it doesn't feel all that solid, but it was this feature in the manual. You can take this part here and you can rotate it around, so you can either have it pointing up or down on the left side, and it's sort of cool. It just looks like a crank that's going to go and churn some butter or something while he's in his off time. The arms are going to have more of a solid green effect compared to the rest, including the fact that you put these 2 gray parts on and then put this part on, which is great because that's exposed. Here you've got the forearm and just the regular bend down there. It is going to bend more, but it's going to be a little bit awkward, and if you do try to move it too much, you'll notice that it's going to bump into each other, so that's certainly a design flaw overall. When you come down here, you're going to have a gray part that you just slap 2 sides on, and you put this on. This can rotate around, and that's more applicable to the left arm so that you can turn it when you put the shield in. Remember that you're going to have the 2 regular manipulators to go along with the extra ones for the left hand. No difference with Wolf down below except up on the shoulders, which are going to be pretty unique here. You've got these big white parts that you put them together. You've got these black seals. These are also black seals here on Wolf, but again, they come around. They shouldn't really bend over, I suppose, if you put them on in the right place. But it's sort of cool when you put this gray part on, it actually goes on with a very satisfying click, and they are going to move up and down a little bit, which is going to show off that green part on the inside. In terms of portable weapons, you're going to have this one here with some black lining on there. You can take that shouldn't really come off, but you can take this part off here. You are going to have 1 green seal in there, and you can turn this if you want to go cool old Flit style. And the shield is going to be very big, very green, crying out for a custom sticker there in the middle, which really sets Wolf apart. But down below, you're just going to have that 1 big green or gray part there before you put the polycap in. And remember that it's going to have to sit a little bit awkwardly in the hand, so you're going to have the hand twisted forward so that you've got this part when you plug it in, and you're going to have to turn the part on the forearm to accept that part, which is going to keep it in, although not all that secure. Ultimately, I think it's the Shelldoll's head that's going to make it stand out and just scream Jim if it wasn't already. In terms of assembly, when you put it together, you are going to have these round parts there that you can choose to line or not. I didn't do it the best there, but you've got some green there on the inside. The antenna's looking good up there, and actually you don't have to put these seals on here, although I didn't really think that the plastic stood out as well as it does on Wolf's. Over on the other side, you're just going to have a circle, nothing too exciting there, but the eyes, because they are very reflective, and one thing to be a little bit aware of is that you just got to be careful with your lining there because it's very difficult to get it very even in there. Overall, from the parts, I've got to say that it's different enough from the GXs to make it feel somewhat new when you're putting it together, and that's thanks to these molded shoulders and the interesting new leg designs, and certainly having those colors all over the place and wondering what's going to go where is certainly part of the fun, I suppose. 4 hands is a bit of a bonus. You do get an extra beam, which is a little bit, well, it's always great to have an extra one, but it would have been nice if they gave you an extra saber handle just so you could have the 2, I suppose. But otherwise, it's time to put this whole thing together next part and see how it looks next to Wolf and all the other grunts. Anyway, everybody, why don't you let me know what you think with a comment down below. Always love to hear from you, and stay tuned for the next part. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. What? It's my green bow tie.